Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Huncho, back at you again with another video. So this next story we're about to get into takes place on the Broadwater Farm estate. And for you guys that don't know the estate, it's based in Tottenham and is home to UK drill rap group OFB. Now, doing research on this story and what I found interesting and want to show you guys is that the Times had ran an article titled "The Children Dreading Their Summer Holiday Shut Away Inside Broadwater Farm Estate." Now, I've never lived on the estate myself, so I can't talk for the people. But if you do go to the Times article, they went there to speak to local residents, so we can get a little insight and a little feel of what it's like to live on the estate. So reading a few paragraphs from the article, Dawn Ferdinand, who is the head teacher at Willow Primary School, which is on the estate, said, "My team and I are already dreading the moment we have to shut the school gates for the 6-week summer holiday. For so many children living in these conditions, school is their anchor. Alongside learning, it's the place where they are fed and can play safely while their parents work. We have tried desperately to find a way to stay open, but even with the lowest subsidised day rate, it adds up to more than many Broadwater Farm parents could dream of affording." She goes on to say, many of their families are being fed on as little as £35 a week, and some of their children can rarely venture outside in the summer. The article would go on to give a bit of a background on the estate by saying that when completed in 1973, the estate was quote-unquote the jewel in the crown of the planning department at the London Borough of Haringey, going on to describe it as a modern-day utopia cast in reinforced concrete. The article then continues by saying these days, visiting the farm is a haunting experience for outsiders. The architecture is no longer new or welcoming. Instead, its shadowy corners are home to drug trading and gang activity. Road business, as gang dealings are known, is conducted openly along a 50-yard strip on the estate, known as the front line. The teacher would then go on to describe how challenging it was for people in the area due to living in extreme poverty in overcrowded homes. Herself, originally from the Castle Vale estate in Birmingham, she had moved to the estate 11 years ago, to where she said that she wanted to move there to make a difference to the lives of the people who lived in the community. She says, "When I got the headship," meaning when she became the head teacher at the school, "people had asked if I was going to wear a bulletproof vest." But then she would go on to claim that in reality, once you're known on the estate, you're safe. Damilola Falodi and her 5 children who are local residents on the estate said, "We were moved here from Croydon in June last year to find cockroaches, mice, exposed wires, and a non-working boiler. We had no heating, no hot water for a year, and a lot of our food money has gone to pay for electric fan heaters. We all lie awake at night listening to mice scratching the walls. I've tried so many times to get the council to help us, but living on the Broadwater Farm sometimes makes you feel invisible. Nobody except the school seems to care." I'll leave the article linked down in the description. Feel free to go check it out. It's quite long and has more insight to the residents on the estate. It's a good read and you'll get to know to a point what the area is like. It's a paid service, but there's a free trial currently running and you can cancel it at any point. So it'd only be a couple months after this article was wrote that the story of Perry Jordan Brammer would take place. On the 30th of August 2019, a 15-year-old boy by the name Perry Jordan Brammer was found by police and paramedics with multiple stab wounds on Willam Road in the Broadwater Farm estate at around 11:15 a.m. He was rushed to hospital in critical condition following the attack a short while later. A day later, on the 30th of August 2019, 2 men in their 20s and a 17-year-old boy were arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Then, on the 31st of August 2019, a 4th person, a man in his 20s, was also arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. And at this point, police believe Perry was involved in an altercation shortly before he was stabbed, and they believed it was by someone potentially riding a bicycle. At this point, police would also issue a statement, with Detective Inspector Paul Ridley saying, "I'm keen to hear from anyone who either witnessed or has any information concerning this attack." The victim, not yet 16 years old, sustained multiple stab wounds and is fighting for his life. If you know anything about the circumstances surrounding the incident, or if you witnessed it, please do come forward. I'd also appeal to the members of the public who administered crucial first aid to the victim to come forward to help my investigation team. Then, on the 4th of September 2019, Perry, after a long battle to stay alive, was unfortunately pronounced dead at hospital. On this day, we would also find out that the 4 people who had been arrested previously on suspicion of attempted murder were all released with no further action being taken. Police at that time would come out to say that they believed the killer had fled the scene on a yellow bike, which was found later abandoned in an alleyway. Detective Chief Inspector Neil John, who was now leading the investigation, went out to appeal for information. He said, "This attack happened in broad daylight, and we believe there are people out there who know what happened. This was a sustained attack, which has led a boy just age 15 losing his life. We are determined to find the individual responsible for his murder, and we believe he fled the scene on a yellow bicycle, which was later found abandoned nearby in an alleyway. We would urge anyone with dashcam footage which may show the attacker or the incident itself to come forward. Then, on the 6th of September 2019, a 21-year-old man would be arrested in the early hours of the morning on suspicion of attempted murder, and a 25-year-old man would go on to be arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender, and they at that point had both remained in custody. The 21-year-old man would then go on to be charged with Perry's murder, and I do believe the 25-year-old got released with no further action. Police would release this statement saying, Romario Lindo, 21, of Hartford Road, Enfield, was charged on Saturday, September 7th, 2019, with the murder of Perry Jordan Brammer. He was also charged with robbery and possession of an offensive weapon, and he will appear in custody at Highbury Magistrates Court on Saturday, September 7th, 2019. After his appearance in court, Romario was remanded in custody to appear at the Old Bailey on September 10th, 2019. There isn't currently any reports regarding that first court date at the Old Bailey because I do believe the date was postponed until the 22nd of November 2019. Here, Lindo would appear at the Old Bailey via video link from HMP Belmarsh wearing a grey prison-issued tracksuit. On this day, prosecutors claimed he stabbed Perry after he stole a pair of trainers from another teenager on the same day. He spoke only to confirm his name and to deny charges of murder and possession of a blade, but admitted to robbery, and a 2-week trial estimate was set due to start on the 17th of February 2020. So yesterday, which was the 17th of February 2020, at Woolwich Crown Court, it was heard that Perry from Tottenham had been spending the sunny summer's day with his friend Jason Mombele and another unnamed teenager who that morning had bought a pair of £90 trainers. It was heard that the shoes were robbed from the teenager, who can't be named for legal reasons, by Lindo outside Bruce Grove Station. Mr. Mombele was informed of the robbery, and in an attempt to retrieve the shoes, Perry followed Lindo to William Road. There he was subjected to an attack and stabbed all over his body, according to the prosecution. The scene was viewed by a neighbour in a nearby building, and the prosecution would go on to say, the witness watched. To his horror, he saw the defendant had a knife and was using it to stab Perry again and again. At one point, the witness shouted, "Don't kill him," in response. The defendant had looked up to the witness and carried on stabbing Perry another 3 or 4 times. Then he had fled the scene on the bike Perry had been riding, but by that point, the 15-year-old had been stabbed 10 times to his face and neck, chest, front and back, and buttocks. It was then heard that the paramedics at the scene performed emergency surgery before transferring him to hospital, where his condition unfortunately got worse. Then it was heard the bike and clothing Lindo had been wearing were abandoned nearby. Now, this is an ongoing trial, and I do believe it will be going on for roughly the next 2 weeks, so I will keep you guys updated if any more updates come out surrounding this trial. And I just want to take this time out just to say rest in peace to Perry and my condolences with his family at this time. Now, I don't know if Perry was from the estate. When I was doing my research, I did find out he was from Tottenham, but again, I'm unsure whether he's from the estate specifically. And being only 15, he only went to go and try to retrieve his friend's trainers. Now, if this guy does get sent down and he is found guilty of this offence, he's going to be going down for a long time because he's killed a minor. Like, imagine, let's just put into perspective if he has done this, right? You've gone and you've stabbed a child over some £90 trainers. Is it really worth it? Because I don't think it's really worth it, to be honest. Now, I'm not saying that he has done it, and you know, what we got to remember is that everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but I'm just putting out there a situation where if it has happened, imagine killing a child over a £90 pair of trainers. And again, I will leave that source link down in the description where it gives you a bit more insight to the residents that live on the estate, and you should see some of the conditions that these people are describing. It's absolutely disgusting to think that in London, people can be living in these kind of conditions. Like, this shouldn't be a thing. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Huncho, and I'm out.